A very good evening to everyone. I am Anuradha, and as the moderator of this IFDP, once again, I feel honored to welcome all of you to this International Faculty Development Program. A heartfelt welcome to all the distinguished academicians, researchers, faculty members, scholars, and participants from different institutions and countries as we gather for day 6 of the International Faculty Development Program. The overwhelming participation and enthusiastic engagement from educators, researchers across the globe have made this program highly successful and intellectually enriching. Today's sessions focus on two highly relevant themes related to online education, research publication strategies, and academic excellence in contemporary higher education. Before proceeding to today's technical session, let us briefly revisit the highlight of day 5. The first session of the day 5 was delivered by Professor Fyal from Peter the Great, St. Petersburg Polytechnical University, Russia. She conducted an insightful session on practical data analysis and visualization using Excel and SPSS. The session provided participants with practical exposure to research data analysis, statistical interpretations, and visualization techniques using Excel and SPSS. Participants gained valuable knowledge regarding data handling, analytical methods, and research oriented applications useful for academic and professional research work. The second session was delivered by Assistant Professor Dr. Abdul Tamim Hadi on digital transformation in mathematics education, the role of online learning, focused on the impact of digital technologies, virtual learning environments, and innovative online teaching methodologies in transforming mathematics education globally. The session inspired participants to explore technical enabled learning and modern educational approaches. Both sessions were highly informative, engaging, and greatly appreciated by all the participants. Now we move toward the technical session of day 6. Today, we are privileged to host two eminent academicians and researchers who will share their expertise on online education quality, instructional frameworks, and publication strategies in reputed journals. It is my immense pleasure to introduce our first esteemed resource person for today's session, Professor Wahidullah Enayat, associated with Women Online University, Afghanistan. Professor Wahidullah Enayat possesses over a decade of professional academic experience, including a distinguished 10-year tenure as professor at Samangan, uh, Samagan University, where he significantly contributed to academic development, innovative teaching practices, and student growth. He is highly proficient in advanced computer analytical tools and including Python programming, multiphysics, MATLAB, and Fortran programming. His expertise extends to simulation modeling, mathematical analysis, scientific computing, and workflow automation through innovative technological applications. During his academic career, he uh, spearhead innovative teaching methodologies that enhanced student engagement and academic excellence. He also developed advanced simulation models using COMSOL multiphysics and contributed extensively to analytical and computational research projects. Professor Wahidullah Inayat is currently pursuing his PhD at Onduzuk Maize University. Today he will deliver an insightful lecture on the investigating the relationship between the community of inquiry framework, the SAMR model in enhancing interaction, motivation, and online education quality. This session will provide valuable insight into innovative instructional frameworks, digital pedagogy, online learning engagement, and the enhancement of educational quality in virtual learning environments. Sir, we are deeply honored to have you with us today, and I now respectfully invite Professor Wahidullah Inayat to kindly address the participants and commence his session.
सर प्लीज आप माइक ऑन कर लीजिए आप कर लीजिए.
Sir, unmute yourself.
Hello everyone. I am so happy and to join this international community. Today I want to present my title, investigating the relationship between the CU model and SMER model as predictor of online education. And evidence from 405 students at Women Online Education. At the first, why we use online education for expand access to higher education. Second, support flexible and inclusive learning, reduce geographical and social and institution barriers. Fourth, create a new opportunity for student and constrained contents. Uh, what determine quality? Access in technology access, meaningful interaction, teaching presence, and learner engagement, effective technology. All is effect result is online education quality. The key of this message is technology access alone is not enough. Online education quality depends on how technology is used to support interaction, motivation, and learning. It means both of them. Yeah, when we use online education, is we should use technological and pedagogical process. This slide has show my problem research and why this study is matter. First, online education does not grant high quality learning by itself. Second, access to the technology is useful but not sufficient. Third, a student may still experience limited interaction and weak engagement. Fourth, uh, teaching a person and mindful technology use are essential. The core of this focus is how the model of CO framework and SMA model contribute the interaction, motivation, and receive online education quality. As previous, we say technology alone is not enough. Quality depends on pedagogy, interaction, and mindful technology interaction. The theoretical framework of this, what is the CO model and SAMR model? CO model is means community of inquiry. It means teaching presence, social presence, cognitive presence. Also, a model of COI explain meaningful online interaction and learning experience. After that, what's the same model of SAMR? It means substitution, augmentation, modification, reflection. And also this model explains the deep of technology. Both of this, when we use both of this model, uh, to become the result is we should is online education quality. It means a pedagogical presence plus meaningful technology interaction. And also, COI, yeah, model of COI explain the quality of online learning interaction. And well, Lesmer explains the deep of the technology interaction. This is my research object. How CUI model and SMER contribute to the online education quality. First, perception CUI model. examine students' perception of COI and the dimension of online education. SMER interaction, a model of SMER interaction, analyze students' perception of the model SMER, really technology interrogation. Both of when we use both of this is a model, how is the relationship between the model of COI and SMER? We investigate. Then fourth, predictor of the quality. Which one is the predictor? Will we can be predictor, or which one is the strongest? After all, we control the model and test whether the predictive effect remains significant after controlling for ground variable. The key of this message is study focus on both pedagogical present and meaningful technology integration as the key driver on online education quality. This is my method. It divided in two part. First, study design. The study design is questionnaire survey, and it means quantitative. Participant of this study is 405 students. The research context is woman online education. All the questionnaire is 5 liquid, 5 pine liquid, and all of this analysis but with by soft Python software. And also this is the questionnaire. CU model has question 70 up to 21. The model of smear substitution is Q 22. And all of this question is clearly through this slide. After that, it is my first analyze. This part is study year, internet access, and device. As we see, highest percentage is first year student, and the lowest is another study year. And also internet access is good. Internet access percentage is 36.5, and the weak access internet has 14.3. And also device is used as laptop, 44.9%, and the least use is 3.5. The key of this message is the sample reflect diverse online learning contents with different levels of internet access and digital device is used. The second slide has descriptive analysis. As we see, the SMER transformation and motivation is the highest main score. As we see, this is the natural midpoint is 3. All of them is over the midpoint natural. And also the highest main score is belongs to transformation smear in model of smear, and the student report positive level of interaction, motivation, and online education. The second, this slide is show reality of my research. This is the threshold of the alpha Colombo. As we say, two model is acceptable, CUA model, and also online education quality. This is the acceptable, and two model in smear transformation and interaction is marginal and exploratory. Because the alpha is 0.6 and 0.6. Uh, why this model is low, and after that we use the single item indicator Q20 EK 22 because we refining workflow. Originally, a SMART model is six items, but if we analyze the six item of a SMART model, it show low availability. But we can choose just this item as it means question 22 is a single dictionary. After that, there is Q question 25 up to question 27. As the alpha problem become is good marginal exploratory. This is the result of a correlation between the CO model and SMART model. It means association among pedagogical present and technology integration and received quality. As we say, the interaction of model COI is IS 0.97, and the second, the SMART model correlation is online quality with the SMART transformation. And third is motivation, 0.62, and also SMART model. The key of this message is transformational is use of the technology aligns with the stronger pedagogical presence and higher perceived online quality, where simple substitution does not. And also regression of result. This is the main point. The strongest predictor is SU model, and significant positive is contribution is SMART transformation, and the laws are not significant is the SMART substitution. Uh, uh, all model is this the SAMR of the my model is as we say the 405 student is participant this survey, and her is show 0.7 hit 4. Our score is 0.615, and we adjust our score is 0.603, and rotation his SU model had the largest positive effect. Smart transformation had a significant positive, and but the substitution is made that not significantly predict, because the key of this message perceived online uh, education quality is shaped more by pedagogical presence and transformation technology used than by simple content substitution. After the regression analysis, we use the sensitivity analysis, testing the model without overlap, because some model come as not scientific. They show overlapping with the item of SMART. Then we use the sensitivity analysis. Why we use this analysis? Because for this reason, online education quality originally include the question 25 up to 27. These item overlap with the SMART transformation. Then we use a sensitivity model was used to reduce the item overlap. Uh, as we see, this is the my model testing as beta is 0.590, and also smear transformation as we say interaction, active, and novel learning is beta is equal 0.268. After that, the question is PDF file is used instead of book. This model is substitution. Uh, all of them affect on online education. Hence, this model is sensitivity model. The pattern of finding remain as stable after removing overlapping SMIR item, confirming the robustness of the main result. Finally, a final control model. Control variable is study year, internet access, and device use. This background variable bar include as the controls and in the model. After that, the final control regression finding is a predictor online education, like a SU model, is show or pedagogical present by strongest predictor. Beta is 0.59, and transformation SMIR is beta is 0.2. And after controlling from the background factors, pedagogical presence and transformation technology is used remain the key predictors of online education. Uh, what do finding means for online university? We separate in 5 points. For one, pedagogy matters most. She was the strongest predictor, showing that teaching, social and connective presence and are central to online education. Second, is transformation beats sophistication, interaction, active and novel use of technology improve repressive quality, while simple PDF file substitution did not. Third is design for engagement. Online learning environment should prioritize interaction, motivation, and meaningful perception rather than passive content delivery. Fourth, institution for faculty training, stronger digital pedagogy and better interaction course design can improve student experience and learning quality. The strategy we this message for women online university and similar contest quality improve when the technology support engagement, present and meaningful learning, not just access to materials. This is the end of my slide. Uh, uh, Student report generally positive perception of CU model and smart transformation, traction, motivation, and online education, and also model of COI and SMIR transformation significantly improve perceive online education, but SAMR SMIR substitution that did not significantly predict online education. We do not see like EDF uh, is used for the online. Just we use PDF. We should use another method. The meaningful online learning engage with the pedagogical presence is combined with the transformational technology use. Thank you for.
Thank you so much, sir. Um, Thank you so much, sir, for your insightful lecture on online education in constrained learning environments and your discussion on the COI and SAMR models, along with their correlation, practical applications in online learning, was highly informating and enriching. You also highlighted the limitations and challenges of online learning, explaining how learning outcomes often depend on factors such as internet accessibilities, the device used by students, and the overall quality of the connectivity. Your observation that students benefit more effectively when stable and reliable internet access is available gave us a realistic understanding of the opportunity and constraint of digital learning environments. Thank you once again for sharing your valuable knowledge and perspectives with us. And now I invite the participants if they have any question, they can write in the chat box or they can raise their hands if they directly want to interact with the sir. So there is one question. Uh, Let me read for you. Sir, are you there?
Yes, yes.
How does achieving the redefinition level in the SAMR model specifically enhance cognitive presence within the community of inquiry framework?
Uh, Previously, I say that we use two models by CO model and SMER model, as we show this model in this slide. The COI is just study the teaching presence and social presence and cognitive presence, but the SMER model is substitution augmentation and modification and refining. We use this model to on my on a student, uh, as we say, we know when we use the online education, just we use by lecture by uh, present slide, and also maybe some just send some text on make PowerPoint. It's not when we investigate is it effect on the student on learning. Um, but COI model is just not study in we use which part. We use slide or maybe text or another. But they show they say we use another way. Like videos, like simulation, like maybe virtual experiments, like, maybe another things. And in this case, we connect all two models, SU and SMER, like this.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. There is one more question from Dr. Mamta. Can empirical research be conducted effectively through online
Yes,
online
yes,
model?
yes, yes, yes. We can use it. My next research, and I will be done by empirical research, more than 2000, maybe like this. Yes, can do. But I'm not sure because I didn't any analyze with them. But another study is sure is good, but I'm not sure it's okay or not.
Okay, sir. And one more question from
Yeah.
Dr. Deepak Punia. How much effective online education in research field?
Uh,
Sir?
in this study, just we use two models. We use another models like TPIC, TPA, Sika, and also uh, another model is when we investigate uh, online education, we should use more than two models. But I just This is the uh, uh, second part of my research, but the main part of my research is use four model. And just this present, just we show why show two models. But if we use another model, it's more effectively on online education, like a typic. Typic is so good for online education. If we investigate, we should analyze with the is we say uh, is the online education is good or not. But the typical model is definitely sure is so good, and also the result is significant.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. Dr. Anup Singh wants to ask a question.
Thank you, Anuradha ma'am. Um, First of all, thank you for such a wonderful lecture and detailed lecture. My question is, what is most difficult in COI in three techniques, which is teaching presence, social presence, and cognitive presence, which is the most challenging to establish in fully online learning environment? Which is most difficult to establish?
Mm, uh, just a
Whether it
minute.
is teaching presence or is it social presence or cognitive presence?
Both of them is as we see this. Can you say that my slideshow? And when we use Hmm. uh, we know the CU model in a community of inquiry. This investigate the teaching, social, and connective presence. Uh, they just maybe this point as beta is 0.59 is effect on the online education quality is so good. But this variable to analyze, to control of some voices. Mhm. Um, I think I answered that question.
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir.
You
Please
can you?
proceed.
Thank you so much, sir. There are two more questions if you want to answer that. How does the removal of overlapping survey items affect the statistical significance of predictors in an online education quality model?
Just a minute. Um, when we design the questionnaire, um, uh, some questionnaires belongs to the COI model, and some questionnaire belongs to the definition of the SAMR. Uh, when we use the questionnaire, definitely they should contribute a relationship between each questionnaire. Uh, but the question of the 22 is not any, it means uh, revised. The main of this question is revised question, and this means we should score minus. For this reason, we remove this question, uh, and also to make a similar substitution question. And also, when you use the sixth model, sixth item of the SAMR model, the reliability is not significant. For this reason, we separate of them. One is the substitution, question 22, because the question 22 is not clearly to the student. And if this question clear to student, it is good. But the question is not clear, we remove this one. After this remove, the signification and margin uh, result is good. It means that if we analyze all of this equation, if some equation is not really, we can remove that for the uh, good result and reliability, acceptability.
Okay, should we go for one more question or we start the second session?
We can continue with the second session. I think.
Okay, thank you so much, sir, for your
Thank you.
satisfactory answers. Now we move towards our second technical session of the day. It is a matter of great privilege to introduce our distinguished speaker, Dr. S. Mohanasundaram, currently serving as Assistant Professor of Finance and Business Analytics at the Amrita School of Business, Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham, Coimbatore. Prior to this, he served as Assistant Professor at NSB Academy, Bangalore. Dr. Mohan Sundaram holds a PhD in Management from Pondicherry University, an MBA and a bachelor's degree in physics. He was also awarded the prestigious Junior Research Fellowship by the University Grant Commission. His teaching and research interests lie at the intersection of finance, business analytics, asset pricing, machine learning, financial analytics, and financial econometrics. He has taught courses including data science using R and Python, statistics for management, data visualization, quantitative techniques, operation research, and investment analysis and portfolio management. Dr. Mohan Sundaram has published research articles in reputed Scopus indexed and ABDC listed journal, including the Quarterly Review of Economics and Finance, International Journal of Electronic Government Research, along with the contribution of Springer Nature edited volumes. He has presented papers at prestigious international conferences, including the annual International Capital Markets Conference, jointly organized by National Institute of Securities Market and the London School of Economics. He has also served as resource person for faculty development programs and capacity building programs at leading institutions such as University of Madras, SRM Institute of Science and Technology, Bharati Dasan University, and BMS College for Women. Additionally, he possesses expertise in analytical and statistical software, including R programming, Python, IBM SPSS, IBM MOS, SAS, and eView and NVivo. Today, he will deliver a highly valuable session on publication strategies, identifying high-quality journals, and writing effective research papers in Scopus and WoS, etc. This session will greatly benefit researchers, faculty members, and scholars by providing practical guidance regarding quality research publication and journal selection and effective academic writing strategies. Sir, we are truly honored by your gracious presence, and now I respectfully invite Dr. S. Mohan Sundaram to kindly address the participants and begin his session.
Thank you. Thank you for the detailed introduction about me. First of all, I would like to thank the person behind this FDP, the editorial board of Vistas, especially Dr. Vikas and Dr. Mamta. I know the efforts and hard work they put behind this journal, and I wish them that this journal will become one of the leading journal in future. And thank you, participants. Let me start quickly. The title given to me was Publication Strategies: How to Identify High-Quality Journals and How to Write Effective Research Paper. The purpose of publication to begin with is not just to show that we have done something. The purpose of publication is to share what we have found. So the ultimate aim of publication is to be read, to be recognized, and to be cited. So this session is divided into 4 parts. Okay, the first part is of publication landscape. What are all the publication models available, and if there are APCs, how these APCs vary across different publication models. The second part will cover how to identify quality journals. What are the quality metrics available, and how to identify predatory journal. The third part will cover how to write effectively, and the final part is what are we supposed to do after submission. Let's get into the first part. Why publication strategy matters. Why? First of all, we have to create a strategy. Once we have an idea in our mind to write a paper, we should not start looking for the journal after writing the paper. Once we conceive the idea, we have to create a strategy, because when the strategy fails, we'll end up with this major 4 issues. One is loss of time. Ideally, for a decent journal, it takes a minimum of 6 months to give us the review comments. So if we are not having the strategy, a perfect strategy, then we will lose up to 12 months. I know I have an example, like I know a scholar who has a good research output, but he didn't have the strategy before starting to write the journal article. Okay, so after writing the article, he searched for the journal, he submitted in a particular journal, and that journal took almost 10 months to give the review comments. And after a major revision, then once again he resubmitted that. It took 4 more months, almost 12 months got over. Finally, the result came as rejection. So if we are not having the proper strategy, we will lose time. So along with losing time, we will also lose the momentum. One thing is that research is done by everyone, and we are not the sole researchers in our domain. And the topic that even we narrow down the topic to the lowest level, even we can see there would be some 10 or 15 researchers in the narrowed down domain. Okay, so if it gets delayed, the findings by some other scholars or some other researchers will get published at the same time. And moreover, whatever the citation we have done, that will become stale. Because with the same example, this person, after spending 12 months and coming out with a rejection, he resubmitted the same article to another journal. The first comment he got was, the citations were outdated. Please update the citations. So once again, he has to go through literature and cite the recent review. So that momentum will be lost. And lost opportunity, this is most important one, because our promotion, when we are in academia, our promotion, and if we are applying for any funding, these things will be dependent on the publications that we have. If we are not having the proper strategy, and if our publication is getting delayed, then all these opportunities will be lost. And finally, all these things put together, that will give us a loss of morale, and we will start to think whether we are efficient in doing our research. And it will also discourage our future submission. We will keep on with our current paper which got rejected, and we will just redesign or rework, restructure, and resubmit. We will work on the same thing, and we will not focus on our next research topic. So that's why publication strategy matters when we are submitting or when you are writing a research article. Next, the publication models. The first model is the commonly available model, which is a subscription-based model, where either the author or the institution will pay for the publication, and this publication APC will be of maybe around $400 to $500 depending on the journals. And if any reader wants to access the article, they have to pay. They have to pay and then access the article, or the institution should have the access to this journal so that the members of the institutions can access journal. And in the subscription model, there are some journals, there are lots of journals without any APC for the authors. So those are subscription-based models. And then gold open access. This gold open access is freely available for the readers. Freely available for the readers. The readers they don't have to pay any charge to access any article. You can see if you're browsing through any journal, they would be mentioned we have gold open access. But who will pay for the publication charges, or who will pay for all the process involved in the publication? The author has to pay. So depending on the journal category, whether it is in Q1, Q2, or depending on the publisher, this APC is varying between $500 even up to $5,000. Some renowned institutions have some agreement with publishers. For example, our institution is having an agreement with Springer Nature, where the author, if they are the employees of this institution, they don't have to pay article processing charge. It will be directly collected from the institution with some discounted rate based on the agreement that they have. This is gold open access. And the next one is green open access. Here, neither the author nor the reader have to pay. Most of the journal which are available under doaj.org. You can access this site, doaj.org. And most of the articles available under this will be called green open access. It will be either funded or it will be done on free of cost, so that the author, while submitting the journal, the author doesn't have to pay the fee, and the reader also doesn't have to pay the fee for accessing the journal. The next one is diamond open access, where this kind of journal will be sponsored by any institutions. For example, there is one human, I forgot the journal name. Okay, human studies related journal. That journal is related to, it was funded by some association in Cairo. So the entire publication cost, everything is taken care by the society or a funding institution, so that the author doesn't have to pay and the readers also don't have to pay the fee. And finally, preprint. This is emerging now. Some examples I have given here. One is ArchiveX. It is called ARXIV, and Bio RXIV, that is for biology related. Then we also have SSRN. This is not a journal. They are archives where once we write, say for example, in some cases we will not have time to look for or search for a journal to publish. But we have an idea, and we have time to work on this idea and write the paper. Once we complete the manuscript, some authors, what they do is they published in this preprints. Those are called preprints, so that for the research community, they will announce. It is like announcing that I have done this research and these are my findings and these are the suggestions, so that the author takes carries the ownership of this finding. Later, these preprints can be resubmitted to some journal. You may ask a question: if the article is available in public, how will the journal accept for submission? There are some journals or most of the journals, leading journals, they are accepting preprints, provided that when we are submitting in the submission platform, we have to state that this article or this manuscript is available as preprint in this repository or archive, and you have to give the link to access that also. So these are the different publishing models available. Okay. What are the strategic questions you can ask before writing a journal article? Okay. Who is my intended reader? Okay. I can give you an example. My research area, broad research area is asset pricing. So my intended reader would be someone who is doing research in my domain. In industry, I can expect some investment banker or retail investors to read my article. Okay, so I define who are my intended reader. Okay, then once I define the intended reader or my audience, then the next question I will ask is, what is the scope of my research? What is the scope? Because if we are not defining the scope of our research, we will not be able to look up or search for journals which are matching with the scope. In any journal, they will be giving about the journal, they will be giving aim and scope. You just have to go through the aim and scope and see that the aim and scope of those journals are matching with the scope of your article or manuscript. Only then you should be submitting. Okay, you should think of submitting to the journals. If at all the journal's aim and scope is not matching with your aim and scope, then it is a waste of time. As I said before, if you are submitting to such journals, ultimately you will get desk rejection, and that desk rejection, we cannot say that it will happen immediately in 1 or 2 days. It may happen even after 4 months or 6 months. We cannot expect to get the desk rejection immediately. It depends on the review policy that they have. And most importantly, the timeline we need, because in any journal website, you can see what is the what is the time they take to submission to first decision. First decision means the editor's decision. And then what is the timeline? What is the time they take from submission to first review comments, first round of review comments? And what is the time they take from acceptance to publication? So they will give average time, okay, average or median time. Okay, so based on that, we have to think whether we have that much time for our article, because some funding, or if you are applying for promotion, we cannot wait for 1 year, right? So those things need to be considered. We should not blindly submit that the scope is matching. Okay, we cannot also have any positive or we can say that we should not be optimistic always when it comes to time, because what they show in their website is just an average time. Okay, so I should consider in operations research, we have a time like optimistic time, pessimistic time. I should suggest that you should always have a pessimistic timeline when we are submitting to a journal. Pessimistic means it is not like it will get rejected. Okay, what is the maximum time they will take for each stage? So consider that time and see whether that time is aligning with your expected timeline, and then proceed with submission. Okay. The next one is whether my funder require, whether open access is required. If it is required, there are associations or institutions funding for open access, and if you have access to your librarian, you can also ask whether they have any open access funding available, or whether they have any discounted funding available for any particular journal. And if you are part of any research committee, you can also push for funding. That will increase the submission, that will also increase the motivation of researcher in your institution. Okay, finally, all this thing put together, whether this journal or this entire process fit my research arc. Only then we have to submit to a journal. Okay, what are the key takeaways in this first part? The strategy that has to be created before writing the article or manuscript, because unless we pick the journal first, what we write will be of for general audience, because the journal will list who are the general audience. They will also have who are the targeting audience. If you are going through the journal website, you can get who are the target audiences, okay, and what are the aim and scope. Unless you pick the journal first, your writing style or the process, the flow of your writing will not follow the aim and scope of their journal, and it will not satisfy the reader. So they pick the journal first, and we have discussed what are the publication models available, and we have also discussed what are the preprints and what will happen if submission is done to a wrong or a journal which is not matching with our scope, aim and scope, and what are the costs that will incur. Okay. The next part is how to identify quality journals. There are several metrics. Here I have listed a few metrics, most commonly used matrices. Okay. First, before getting into metrics, what quality means? Quality means reach. First one is reach. How effectively or how efficiently the articles published in any particular journal reaching the audience. So reach is important. The quality, what are the metrics that we are going to see that define reach and rigor. There are some journals like if you submit an article, you will get the confirmation immediately in maybe in 1 or 2 days without any review. Okay, so the journal should have a peer review standard. They should define what is the peer review process, what is the time. That's why majority of the journals, they list what is the time they take to review, what is at each stage, what is the average time it takes to make decision or to review, etc. And also it also includes the credibility of the editorial board and as well as the review board. Okay, so the reputation of the members of the editorial board or review board is important. And you can also, if any journal is listing their editorial board, you can also cross check whether they have listed the actual experts in the field, or whether the review board is clear, and whether it is matching with the aim and scope of the journal. In some cases, you can also, if you want to cross check, you can also cross check with the websites of the institution, the affiliated institution, and then get a confirmation. And finally, relevance, as I said, the scope matching with the domain, because there are journals I have seen for the sake of publishing. I have seen a marketing paper getting published in a biology journal. It is that journal is listed in Scopus, but when we do a review, we will get to know, we will cross check, we will get to know if what kind of quality will that journal have if a biology journal is publishing a marketing paper. So all these things are considered when quality is the matter. Okay, so based on this, we have, there are various matrices available. The first one is impact factor, that is JF, Journal Impact Factor. It is available at Clarivate. Clarivate is nothing but Web of Science. Yeah, Web of Science. Clarivate are the owners of the Web of Science. If you have access to Web of Science, you can search at Web of Science and get to know the journal impact factor. Maybe I can show you how to, I have access to Scopus. I will show you how to check all this. Next one, site score. Site score is given by Scopus. And then SciMago JR, SciMago Journal Ranking, that is called SJR. SNIP, Source Normalized Impact Factor, and H Index. H index is given by different sources. Even Google Scholar is also giving H index, and Scopus is also giving H index. But how they calculate the methodology, even the methodology is same. The sources available or the raw data available for them may be varying when it comes to H index. H index means, if, for example, if I'm saying that I have H index of 4, it means that at least 4 journals should be cited 4 times, or there should be 4 citations for minimum of 4 journals. Even if the 5th journal is having 2 citations, I cannot call that as H index as 5. And if I am calling H index as 5, it means that at least 5 of my articles, journal articles, should be cited a minimum of 5 times. That's what H index is. H index can be calculated or for individual researchers, and for journals also H index can be calculated, because in this journal, how many journals are cited how many times. If both values are matching, that is the H index. Okay, I will show, I'll open, let me share my browser and show you where this H index is available. Just give me a moment. Scopus is loading. Yes. I hope you are able to see the Scopus screen.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Since I have the access to Scopus, this is my welcome screen. If you don't have the access, you will not have the portion, this highlighted portion. You will not have this highlighted portion, but you will have this portion at the right top: search, sources, and SciVal. Okay. This sources, this tab is important. This is where we are going to check the journal's authenticity, whether the journal is listed in Scopus or not. We will be searching from here. Click on sources. It will lead to this page. Whether you have access to Scopus or not, everyone will have this page. You will be able to access this page. So from the drop down, select title. I can choose, okay. Sorry. Quarterly review of economics and finance, QREF. Okay. When I start to type, it will give the drop down and we can choose which is the journal that I want to search. And once I select that, I will get the result here. I'm clicking here and saying yes. It is taking me to, it is not taking me to journals page. It is taking me to Scopus page where the details of this journal is available. Okay. I can see the coverage from which year to which year. It is covered from 1992 to 2026. It is available. And then who is the publisher here? Okay, this portion is important because this is where we will be seeing whether the journal is fake or a cloned journal or not. If this publisher's name is there, then that journal will be available in this publisher's website only. We cannot submit the article or manuscript to this journal through any other sources. Okay. And then at the right side, I can see site score. Site score of this journal is 6.4, and SJR, SAMR journal ranking, according to 2024 data, it is 0.72, and SNIP is 1.295. And I can also see what is the site score, how it is calculated here, and what is the site score in 2025. From the drop down for each year, I can see what is the site score available and what are the categories. And you can see here, and at the result page also, we can see the percentile, 81st percentile. This percentile shows us whether this journal is a Q1 journal or Q2 journal. I'm going back to the result page. There also we can see the percentile, 81 percentile. That means that this is greater than 75. If this percentile is greater than 75, it means that that is a Q1 journal. If this percentile is between 50 and 75, that is a Q2 journal. If it is between 25 and 50, that is Q3 journal. And then if it is between 0 and 25, that is Q4 journal. So Scopus is one of the sources for searching the quality or identifying whether the journal is really listed in Scopus. If we want some more information, some other information, we can also search SAMR JR. So the first one, SAMRjr.com, that is our place where we are going to search whether the journal is, search the matrix of our journals. Just let it give a few seconds. Yes, SAMR.jr. This is the welcome page. If I can type the journal title, I can type ISSN, I can type publisher's name also. I'm searching here. Oh, International Journal of Electronic Government Research. The search result, yes, I'm clicking this. We can see IJA publisher. Who's the publisher? Where is it being published? United States, country of the publisher. And then I can also see the subject area. What are all the topics covered? And publisher is IGI Publishing. It is IGI Global. And SJR, SAMR Journal Ranking. This is Q2. And what is the H index? According to SAMR, what is the H index? And we can also have access to homepage. This is most important because if we think that the journal is cloned, we can search here and then click the home page. It will lead us to the home page of the journal. Then we can cross-check whether we are submitting at this domain or whether we are submitting to any other domain. For example, for this journal, IJEGR, any person can send an invitation to you asking if you want to submit a journal to IJEGR, okay, send it through email to us. Or they may also create a fake website like ijegr.org, and this may be their domain, and we cannot submit journal here. We have to go through the official homepage and see what are the editorial policies and what are the information available, resources available for authors, what are the resources available for editors, what is the peer review process. Everything needs to be cross-checked if at all we are having a doubt. Okay, and then for a reputed publisher like let's say IGI Global or Indus Science, Emerald, we can directly go to our Emerald website and cross-check. Okay, so these are the avenues where we can cross-check the quality of the journal that we are intended to submit our paper. Okay, coming back to my slide, impact factor. An impact factor, we cannot assume that if an impact factor is maybe greater than 2, it is good. Depending on the domain, the impact factor may vary, because in some domains, the number of publications would be more. At that time, getting an impact factor is difficult. When there is a domain where number of publications or number of articles published in a year or less, in that, the impact factor will be more for any journal. So based on the domain or research area, the impact factor may vary. So we have to check the impact factor in our domain. And quartiles, I explained what is Q1. Top 25% means 75% to 100%. Okay, and finally we have to cross-check everything. We have to compare the field, and we should not consider any sole information like impact factor alone, or domain alone, or Q1 alone as a criteria for submitting our journal article or submitting our manuscript. Okay, what are all the commonly available databases? One is Web of Science, and our SciMango JR takes information from Web of Science. Scopus, we all know. PubMed and Medline, most of the medical journals will be indexed in this. DOAJ, as I said earlier, open access journals, and most of the open access journal which are free for author as well as reader, those journals will be indexed in DOAJ. And there are also field specific databases like PsycInfo, Econlit, Inspect, all these things. These are indexing database, and we should not get confused with the publisher and the indexing. I may have access to Scopus. But to access the article, I should have access with the publisher. I'll give you one example quickly. Yes. Let me share the screen again. I'll give you another example. Yes. Because people, most of the time I have seen that people say that I have access to Scopus, but they will not be able to access the journal. Let me show. There is a journal called Sources. I can see, yes, title. This journal is Electronic Government. I have access to this journal. I can select this. I have access, Scopus access I have, and I can also view what are all the documents indexed because I have Scopus index. Okay, this index information will contain title, and it will also show abstract. But if I want to read the article, I have to view this article at publishers. Okay, so clicking on view at publisher, and then searching, clicking on any journal. Let's say, okay, I don't have access. If I am clicking PDF, you can see on top, no access. Okay, so there is a difference between indexing and then publisher. Index databases and then publisher, we have to ensure that we know the difference. Otherwise, it is like some institution may say that we have access to Scopus, but whether we have access to the article or not, that is important. Okay, now getting back to my presentation slide. Yes. Okay. How to identify predatory journals? One is there will not be any peer review. Maybe for the namesake, they will say that we are sending for review, but there will not be any peer review. They will not give you any review comments immediately once you submit, and once you make the APC payment, then they will accept it. And one thing, when the journal clearly say that, okay, after confirmation or after acceptance, only then you have to pay the APC, then that is one of the indication that, okay, they are real journal. They are not any fake, or they are not any cloned journal. Okay. And as I said earlier, they will also clone the journal. Mimicry, that means they will clone the journal. I have seen a few journals, even some of the researchers have asked me whether this journal is real or not. They will have all the information. They will have exact journal title, ISSN number, the index database information, everything will be there. but they will be hosting it in a different domain. Domain means their website. But the original domain of the journal will be something else. So everything will be copied similarly, and those journals are cloned journal. We should be aware of this process. I mean, how to identify the cloned journal. We should always, as I said earlier, we should always compare. Okay, whether this is a real publisher or they are cloning any other journal, and then they will invite you to publish. Once you start submitting, or once your article gets published, and if it is freely available, then you may see that you are getting most of the invitations. Like you can submit your article for our journal. You can submit this. We are waiving off the APC. Like this kind of unsolicited invitation, I mean, will be there. It will be aggressive. They will keep on spamming your inbox, email, and if you have, if you are there in some WhatsApp group, they will say to keep updating. Like in some cases, it is painful to see. They will be like, the first authorship is available for this fee. Second authorship is available for this fee. So don't fall for such journals, because whatever we publish, once it gets into the domain, any website, once it gets into online, it is bearing your name. In future, you may, I mean, everyone is expected to grow in academia. In future, if you are in a good position, for example, okay, if you are right now, you are an assistant professor, maybe after some 10 or 15 years, you are getting into the position of a registrar or VC. At that time, if someone is seeing your publication in some fake journal, or in some journal, I mean, journal that is mimicking the original, cloned journal, that will impact your image, or also it will, your research so far, whatever you have carried out, that will be questionable. So don't fall for predatory journals. Okay. What are the red flags to identify predatory journals? Generic invitation emails, and then they will promise quick publication. APCs, APCs, they will not mention clearly, but what happens is, if the journal is clear, they will mention in their website, like this is the actual APC that is covered for publications. Until then, they will not reveal how much APC is there. See, paying for APC after acceptance is different, and revealing how much is the APC, that is different. Okay, so the APC will not be clearly mentioned until your manuscript is accepted. Or in some cases, you have to pay APC, only then the acceptance will happen. Then fake or invented impact matrices, they will show in the email, they will mention that we have impact factor of 12, impact factor of 8, like that. So you should be aware that how to cross-check this information. And then editorial board, as I said earlier, how to verify whether the editorial board is real, whether the person who are there in the editorial board are real or not. Okay, and then you should also have like multidisciplinary journals. See, there are some genuine multidisciplinary journal. They are following a rigorous peer review process, but even in multidisciplinary journals, the aim and scope would be, in some cases, if they are fake journals, it will be clearly, I mean, it will not be clearly mentioned. And moreover, the office of the editorial, I mean, the editorial office will be situated in some other places. Even you cannot identify where the editorial office is there. You cannot identify. So these are the red flags for predatory journals. Okay. Then there is some website called Think, Check, Submit. It lists out, I'm not checking, because in this website, the right bottom, I have given the link, thinkchecksubmit.org. That website, it is, you don't have to follow many steps. In single page, it lists down what are all the checks you have to do. Once you are done with all those checks, then you are ready to submit the manuscript to the journal. So you can take a note of this domain, think, check, submit.org. Okay. The checklist for evaluating journal quality. One is whether it is indexed in Scopus or not, whether it is verifiable, the journal editorial board is verifiable, whether the aim on scope is matching with your manuscript, whether the APC is transparent, upfront, and whether the papers which are published in the journal, whether they are incomparable quality. You can also go through the published articles in their journal and check the quality of those articles and see whether that quality is up to the level of your expectation or up to the quality of your article or your manuscript. These are the items to check when you are submitting to journal. Okay, what are the key takeaways in this part? Quality is not a single criteria, it is a multi-dimensional. Why? I mean, the indexing in Scopus or Web of Science, we cannot compromise on this. There are some emerging journal which at the initial stage, we cannot expect a new journal to get into Scopus index because Scopus and Web of Science have a rigorous policy to get indexed. There should be minimum of 2 years of publications. Lots of criteria are there. So new journals, it may take time for them to get indexed in Scopus. So, but some journals which are operating for 5 or 6 years, if those journals are not listed in Scopus, then we should be careful about those journals. And then comparing metrics within the field, we have to compare. We should not compare the metrics across the field. We cannot compare the journals metrics, I mean, in biology with marketing. Okay, if you are having a marketing paper, we cannot compare the journals that metrics, quality of journals, we cannot compare with across the fields. Okay, and how to recognize the predatory journal we have covered. And finally, think, check, submit. That website you can access later. Okay, what is the structure of an effective paper? This structure, it may vary depending on the domain. Okay, the most commonly accepted structure is IMRAD, IMRAD. That means introduction, method, results, and discussion. You may think, okay, where is the research, review of literature? In this method, the literature will be part of the introduction. If you have checked some leading journal, they will not have any specific literature review section. So literature review will be part of introduction section. Depending on your domain or the requirement of the journal, you can have separate section for literature review. Okay, but this is the most commonly used method for a short paper. This is widely accepted. We'll see how to construct, how to write a better, a best or impactful introduction. Okay. Before getting into introduction, title. The title should be specific. We cannot have a long title. It should specify what are the variables, especially when it comes to medicine, health related. What are the variables considered on which is the population, whether we are conducting the study in India, whether we are conducting study in Indian market, whether we are conducting study in Switzerland. Okay, the title should be specific. What are the? It could also include what is the method that that is incorporated in the study. It could also include variables, or it could also include what are the based on the findings or based on the outcomes. That can also be part of the title. Keep in mind that when you are framing the title, it should be searchable. Searchable means when a common term in your domain is used or a related term in your research area is searched, because no one knows the title of your article unless it comes as a result. So title should be framed in a way that when commonly used terms or keywords related to your research is searched, your title should get into the first list of results. I'll show you an example how title should be framed. Okay. Yes. Those who are in computer science, they know the term called search engine optimization. I'm opening Google Scholar, scholar.google.com. Okay. So we should frame, for example, my research area is asset pricing. I'm typing asset pricing and sustainability. Okay. I just used these two terms. First term is asset pricing. Second term is sustainability. Searching, let's see what is coming. I'm not even typing the entire title. Okay. Only two key terms I have typed. And you can see the first result is sustainability factor in asset pricing, because I have used the term sustainability and asset pricing in my title, and this is my research article. I can see this, access this directly at Science Direct. If I click this, it will take me directly to the journals page. So both title as well as the keywords that we are adding in our research article should be decided in a way that it is appearing in the results when someone is searching with the commonly used terms or most important terms related to our research. Okay. Abstract, some journals asked, they require less than 120 words. Some journals require less than 150 words, and most generally used limitation is 200 words. Okay. It should have all this information. One is, what is the main important, what is the research question it is asking. We should not have a description, detailed description about our research, introduction in our abstract. It should start with what is the research question it is asking. If you have any doubt how to structure, you can go to Emerald. Okay, that Emerald will list how the abstract should be structured. In Emerald, we are submitting a structured abstract. Okay, they will have subheadings like aim, method, and then results, and what are the findings. All this subtopic will be there. You can check in Emerald submission, any Emerald article. Okay, you can check. They will have a structured abstract format. Okay, evidence. What did you find? It is not that what is answering, what we find in the research, that should be stated, and what are all the methods, what are all the key results. Everything should be written in a single sentence, one or two sentences, so that our abstract is not going beyond 200 words. And why this finding matters, that's where the payoff comes. Why this finding matters, and what is the usefulness of this finding, what is the implication the researchers have, that is for theory. What is the implication the practitioners have out of our findings? Okay, then abstract should be written keeping in mind, as I said, like title, it should also include the keywords. So because our abstract is also part of the indexing. Okay, like in Scopus, we can see the abstract. Even though if you don't have the access to full paper, it is indexed. I can access, I can see what is the aim of the article, what is the method used, what is the finding, what is the implication, everything I can see in the abstract itself when it is being indexed. I don't need to access the entire paper unless I want to get into detailed methodology. So it should be written in a way that it covers all the information. And then keyword strategy, you should not use the same word used in your title. This is most important, because when someone is searching, keyword is meant for someone is searching. When someone is searching, it should result. Okay, your article should be in the result list. So choose your keyword wisely so that you're not repeating, because it is an additional option available to include more keywords, more words which are not part of your title. So don't repeat any word that is available in your title. You can also mix a broad area, asset pricing, a narrow area, three-factor model for the example, and you can also include synonyms. For example, when it comes to sustainable investment, we have ESG investment is it is synonymous. Both are not same. ESG is not equal to sustainability. ESG is part of sustainability, but I can consider this as synonymous terms: ESG investment and sustainable investment. The number of keywords depends on journals. Some journals ask for 5 keywords. Some journals allows up to 7 keywords. So you can decide how many keywords you want to include. It will be available in the instructions for authors. Then for medical journals, ensure that your keywords are having this medical subject headings. That is called mesh. If you search with medical subject headings, you will get the website where you will have the headings related to your medical terms of your research area. Okay. The introduction, how to frame the introduction. Start with a broad context. Okay, broad, it should not be like too broad. I will next slide I will show what should not be there in the introduction. Okay, start with a broad context and then narrow down to why this broad field matters. The next paragraph should be related to what is the recent updates or literature in this domain. Then after this, you have to state the gap. Out of this recent, where is the gap which is not discussed in the literature, which are going to be covered in your study? Okay. After stating the gap, then the research question. How are you going to address this gap? What is the question you have related to this to fulfill this gap? So that question should lead you to hypothesis development, and then what will be the expected contribution of this article. All this information should be part of your introduction. Okay. And the common mistakes, exhaustive literature review. Because a literature review, people think that if we cover 100 articles in our literature review, it means that we have done enough research. It's not like that. Okay. The literature review should be leading us to our research, leading us to fulfill the research gap and leading us to hypothesis development. This portion alone, how to do a literature review, we can have a separate session on literature review. Okay. So what the other one is, there will not be any clear gap statement, because when someone is reviewing your article, they will not go through your entire article unless there is a gap statement. That's why in introduction, gap statement is important. And what is the hypothesis that are developed out of, to fulfill, what are the research questions and what are the hypotheses developed, all this information, if this information are available in the introduction alone, then that will motivate the reviewers to go further to review articles or manuscript. And the next one is failure to state the contribution. This is important. Anyone can do a research. Anyone can get the findings. How this finding will help for the practitioner? How will it help for the researcher? Okay, that contribution statement is important. Okay. Finally, this mistake, the last mistake I did when I started writing my first research paper. As I said earlier, my research theme was asset pricing. So when I started my PhD, at the beginning, the first year, I started a rough draft of an article. Okay, in asset pricing, if you are from a finance background, you know there is a model called CAPM, Capital Asset Pricing Model. It was proposed in 1960s. Okay, instead of just mentioning that CAPM model, I did a review for that review on that model. I have written one paragraph like what is CAPM, what are all the variables, why it matters. Okay. So then my supervisor and the reviewers also, okay, I didn't get my consent of the supervisor while submitting. So the reviewer stated, okay, this you have started, the the review from the dawn of your research field. It is not required. Just state what are all the recent developments and proceed with identifying the research gap. So don't go too back in time to start your literature review. Okay. These are maybe for reporting. These are the reporting guidelines. You can search with these guidelines. You will get the result, and you can access the website. These are different guidelines for reporting. For example, Prisma is most commonly used for systematic literature review, and in some cases in bibliometric analysis also people have started using Prisma methodology. And then for observational study, there is a reporting guideline. It is called STROBE. For animal research, we have ARRIVE, and for health, we have CHEERS. And for randomized methodology or guideline called CONSORT. When you are presenting your writing your manuscript, in a few manuscript I have seen, they will have tables, figures, okay, but there are some rules why the table and figures are important when it comes to a manuscript, because you cannot explain everything in context. Some information will be easily available or accessible when you are presenting it as a table. Some information are easily available when you are presenting it as a figure. For example, if you are presenting regression coefficients as a result, if you are giving it as a table, it will take, it will have some few columns and few rows. That's all. In that, maybe some 5 by 4, or it depends on number of variables available. The entire information of the output will be presented in a single table. Instead of writing 2 pages of results, you can present it in a table. Okay, and when you are presenting in a text, ensure that you are not repeating the same information which is available in the table or in the figure. Okay, once you are presenting it in a table, the table should be self-explanatory. If you are presenting it as a figure, the figure should be self-explanatory. What you have to write in a text is the interpretation. You should not repeat the result, but you should write what do you interpret out of these results, out of this diagram, out of this figure. What do you interpret? That interpretation should be written as a text. Okay, so don't duplicate information. Okay, one message per figure. Don't combine multiple information like infographic kind of figure in your manuscript. The caption should explain what is presented in a table or figure, and the figure should be readable. Some journals, they publish in a single column, double column. Like in a single page, you can see 2 columns of text. So when your image is compressed in a single column, make sure that the image is readable. So present a quality image, and you should also ensure that the figure that you are having is accessible for color blindness people. Okay, and when you are presenting any figure diagram or chart and all, ensure that you are having proper labels and legends, and legends should be closer to the data, and it should not be away from the figure at the any end corner end. Okay, ensure that everything is compact so that the readability would be more. Don't give any 3D kind of data. I have seen people will be giving a pie chart in a 3D form, unnecessary information. Okay, and I have also seen people will be giving bar chart in a 3D form, unless the bar chart having 3 dimensions. You should not give 3D effects to your figures. Okay. So discussion, the discussion should have the key findings should be written briefly. Whatever you have written in your research section, don't repeat the same in your discussion. Okay. What are all your key observations? Those observations only should be written in a brief manner in discussion session. So start with a brief information about the key findings in your results and what are all the interpretations that you make. And you have, when you have an interpretation, ensure that you have done a thorough literature review. If you find any of your findings or your results is matching with a prior literature, you have to cite stating that the previous study or the study by this author also has found the same information or same result. Or even if your finding is contradicting with any other finding, you should say that our finding is contradicting with prior findings by so and so authors et al. Within bracket the year. Okay, like that you have to write the interpretation. And majority or most of the commonly done mistake is limitation. Okay, people, they avoid or they forget to include or they don't consider including the limitations. This limitation is more important when it comes to peer review, because authors may find faults. They may find your research is lacking in so and so area. So when you define your scope, you should also define what are the limitations. For example, when I do a study, my data collection span for the last 10 years only. I have to state why I am not taking 20 years. I have to state that is the limitation. I can say that I am testing or exploring a specific criteria or specific phenomenon which has happened, which is visible in this particular period. That's why I am taking this period as the period for my data. Okay, like that we have to state our limitation along with the justification for the limitation. Okay, finally, what are the implications of our findings? Who will be useful for our findings and in which way the findings will be useful for them? The implications should be stated clearly. Okay, common mistake, overclaiming without beyond what our findings or our results support. Okay, if someone is using any AI tool to write your findings or discussion, the AI tool will overclaim your findings. They will say that something that beyond your data or your results are showing. Okay, so don't make any overclaim. Just discuss what is found, what is the claim you make out of your finding. Okay, what are the contributions? Okay, don't ignore any evidence that is contradicting, because as I said earlier, if your findings are contradicting any other prior findings, you have to state that deliberately. Okay, don't say that okay, my result is exactly opposite to previous study which was done by some expert in the field. So if I show this result, it will get rejected. It's not like that. You have the freedom to contradict. You have the freedom to contradict prior findings, even if that previous researcher is of Nobel Prize winner. If your finding is true and if it is contradicting prior finding, you have to state that deliberately. Okay, don't treat your discussion as an introduction, kind of like we have started this study with this aim and we have found this, we have discussed this, I mean, we have carried out this methodology, like that. Don't treat your introduction as another or second, I mean, your discussion section as another introduction. Okay, don't fail to address limitation. I said earlier, don't end your discussion with a speculated information. Okay, so end your discussion with contribution. That is what people look for. These are commonly used reference managers: Zotero, Mendeley, EndNote, Paperpile, and BibTeX. Zotero is an open source reference manager. This can be used offline also. The only contradiction between Mendeley, recent update of Mendeley and Zotero is that Mendeley can be used only when you are offline. But with Zotero, we can import the articles, provided you have access to the articles. All the information, citation related information, metadata will be imported in Zotero. without internet access. I mean, for downloading, you need internet access. Once you download the information, you don't need to have internet access to cite through Zotero. But for Mendeley, you need internet access always. EndNote also, but EndNote is a paid one, so most of us will not have EndNote unless the institution have a subscription for this. Paperpile is the recently evolving reference manager. With Paperpile, whatever the documents that you import can be directly saved in your Google Docs. BibTeX is not a reference manager, but those who are writing research, your manuscript using LaTeX, for them, BibTeX is a format of meta information where BibTeX will be used while writing, while citing any information from the literature, because whenever you import, when you are exporting any information from a research article, export as Zotero RIF or export as BibTeX. If you are saving that citation export as BibTeX, directly you can cite that BibTeX file in LaTeX when you are writing your manuscript using LaTeX. Okay, these are the key takeaways. We have discussed what is IMRAD and how the title and abstract should be structured and how the keywords should be chosen. And then how to report, I mean, not how to report results, what are the criteria that we consider while reporting our results, and how to write a discussion, and why the limitation is important in your manuscript. Okay, the next part. What do we do during submission and after submission? What should we do? What are we supposed to do? Pre-submission checklist. This checklist will vary based on a publisher. So in your publisher's domain, you can go through your the checklist. They will have what are the important documents or information required before publishing. The most commonly used checklist is this: the manuscript that match with journal's formatting requirement. Go through the formatting requirement. If they mention any specific font size, line spacing, and then alignment, ensure that, and the numbering of your section, subsection. Some journals require numbering, some journals they don't require numbering. And what is the citation format they require? The citation format vary by domain. Ensure the formatting requirements are all incorporated in your manuscript. And if you are submitting for a double-blind peer review, ensure that your manuscript is not having your author information or any information that identifies the author. Ensure that all the co-authors are informed and you have got the approval from the co-authors that you are submitting, because at later stage the journal may send an acceptance or acceptance of, their consent for peer review. If you are submitting without the knowledge of your co-authors, they will forget to give the consent and your manuscript will not be sent for review. And in recent times, this ethical approval is required whenever you are conducting research with human subjects and then clinical research, like this kind of studies. Ethical approval is required. Even if ethical approval is not required, the journal asks you to explicitly state that this kind of research doesn't require ethical approval. So that statement format will also be there in the journal's website. If you have any conflict of interest, that has to be stated as a statement. All the journals ask for conflict of interest statement. And reporting guideline checklist should be completed. And moreover, the ORCID ID, because ORCID list or it also index like what are all the publications that you have, any author have published. That information will be available in ORCID. And if you have access, this is ORCID, the website address is orcid.org, where you can register, create your account with your email, your institution email or your personal email, and you can also link your published articles. In future, when you are making a submission, the journal will ask for your ORCID profile, and this ORCID link will be published along with your author information at the end of your institution, affiliating institution. Okay. Some author, some journal may require submission. While submitting, they may also require suggested reviewers. Okay. So they may ask you to list 1 or 2 or even 3 suggested reviewers for your articles. You should not include. I think I have that slide separately. Yes, I have. Okay. What could be the components of your cover letter? Start your cover letter with title and what is the summary of the work that you have carried out, and follow that with the second paragraph. What are the key findings? Third paragraph should include how this manuscript fits the scope of the journal. How will it be useful for the audience of this specific journal? And then if there is any declaration like that the declaration that we discussed earlier, conflict of interest, all this declaration should be made, and you should also declare that this article or this manuscript is not submitted anywhere else, and this is submitted solely for this particular journal. All this information should be part of your cover letter. And some journal, if they want any additional information in the cover letter, it would be mentioned in the journal's website. Okay. When the journal is asking for suggested reviewer, how to choose the reviewer? Okay. You should choose the reviewers who are specialists in your research area. Don't think like if you are choosing an expert in the field, they will critically review and reject our article. Don't be like that. If your research is, if it is done honestly, have the courage, identify who are the reviewers in your area, or who are the studies. If you are extending any previously published study, then you can also specify those authors as your suggested reviewers. Not all journals are asking for suggested review. Few journals are asking, and they also ask if you want to exclude or not to consider any specific author, you can also include those authors' name, information, and you can also justify why you don't need that author to review your article. That exclusion option is also there. Okay. Peer review process. This is the regular, most common flow. The first result can be disk reject if the scope is not matching. Obviously, it will be rejected by the editor. The second possible outcome could be rejection after the review. The reviewers are not finding your research or findings of your research and the contributions useful. So they may reject your article. If your research is found interesting, if the reviewers see that it is valuable, but if it is lacking in some places, they may ask for a major revision. They will also suggest in which place we have to revise, what are all the revisions that you can make. They will give in as a list. Extraordinary papers which are methodologically sound, but some minor revision required, like some related to explaining or findings, or what are the implications, or if some changes are required when it comes to presenting the result, if any additional information is required in the result, those kind of manuscript will be given minor revision after the review. Then finally, it is too rare. Not even 1% of articles manuscripts are accepted on first submission. Okay, so unless your manuscript is of 99% of quality, 99+% of quality and rigor, you will get the first 4 decision. The last one is rare. After the decision, it will move. The process will move to production. Okay. If you are getting a review comments, how to respond to the reviewers? The tone of your review should be polite. I know a researcher that he got a review comments, like 10 comments were there, detailed comments. What are all the major changes that needs to be done? The reviewer, I mean the author, what he did, he took much time. He didn't incorporate the suggested. He did incorporate the suggestion, yes, but while writing the response to the reviewer, what he has done is he took the first comment, he has written the first comment, and then below that he has written the response as addressed in the manuscript. Second, addressed in the revised manuscript. Third, addressed in the revised manuscript. One thing you have to understand that the reviewers are spending, maybe even the reviewers may spend 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours of time to review your manuscript. And they come up with, they manually type and they give with the, they have the, I mean, they find your research is interesting. Okay, so they took additional effort to review your article. Most of the reviewers are not getting paid. So, okay, so just understand the efforts taken by the reviewers as well. And so whenever you are writing a response to a review comments, address the comments, okay, address each and every comment. Okay, even if you disagree with the comments, you have to state politely why you are disagreeing. If you are agreeing with the comments, state what are the revisions that you have made and where you have made the revision. Mention with tracking or line number, page number, line number. Mention that. If required, you can highlight in the manuscript. Okay. Give a structured response, like quoting the comment. What is your response? Where you have made the response. So like that, you have to give a structured response to the review comments. Some journals may ask you to track the changes in the original review, original manuscript. Okay, that option can also be enabled in Word. Fine. Okay. So as I said earlier, yes, sometimes the reviewer may not be having complete knowledge. So if you are disagreeing with their comments, so disagree and provide evidence why you are disagreeing. Okay, don't plainly say this is what I have found, so I am disagreeing with your comments. No, you have to justify why you are disagreeing. Okay, you have to acknowledge the comments first. Okay, why? What is their concern? If you are disagreeing, what is their concern? What is your stand? And then give the evidence. Because of this, you are disagreeing. When you are giving the evidence, you have to cite the prior literature. Okay, based on this, I am disagreeing. Okay, then finally, let the editor decide whether it has to be sent for another round of review or not. Okay. Post publication, yes. Post publication, yes. As I said, ORCID profile, repository. If it is open access, we can keep your article plus, I mean, uploaded in your own repository or in your institutional repository. You can share your publication in social media. You can also keep a track of your the impact of your publication. There are Google Scholars, Scopus, Dimensions, Altmetric. All this information will provide what is the impact you have made. Yes, I think I have covered all these things. Key takeaways. These are the key takeaways of this session. These are the resources available. thinkschecksubmit.org for evaluating whether you are okay to submit to this any particular journal. Equator Network for different domains. This gives what are all the reporting guidelines available. I have stated few guidelines at the beginning. So there are lots of guidelines. You can go through this website, doaj.org, where you can have access to open access journal articles. Publicationethics.org. This is COPE. You would have seen COPE publication ethics. They have a list of ethics that needs to be followed as a publisher. You can go through this publication ethics, and you can also reach out to your library's research office for any institutional support. Thank you. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. I thank the organizers and the journal Vistas, International Journal of Multidisciplinary Research. And thank you for listening to me. I thank the audience, participants for listening to me for this much. I mean, I think it has been a long session. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for your insightful lecture on publication strategies, your detailed explanation of the publication landscape, and identifying quality journals, effective academic writing, the submission process, and the post-submission practices was extremely informative and valuable for all the researchers and the scholars. Your guidance on selecting appropriate journals, maintaining research qualities, and understanding the complete publication process has given us a clearer perspective on research excellently. And thank you once again for the sharing your expertise and practical suggestions with us. Thank you so much, sir. And if anybody wants to ask question.
main to YouTube है ना
Anup sir
कोई डाकू हो गया
wants to ask.
First of all, thank you, Dr. Mohanasundaram ji, such a wonderful and great, informative and engaging lecture. The session was so rich in content and insight that it kept us thinking throughout the session, much like a child in a toy shop, wanting to explore everything at once. You covered a vast range of important topics in great detail, which made the lecture extremely valuable. While it may be challenging to remember every point discussed in the knowledge and the perspective you shared have certainly give us a lot of reflect upon. Thank you for this wonderful presentation. My question is, how do journal nowadays detect use of AI tool in the article, and how much this AI tool is at what level it is acceptable by the journal?
Okay. This AI use of AI in research has pros and cons. When it comes to journals, they use tools like Turnitin. Turnitin has AI check. Okay, it depends on journals. It depends on journals. It varies by journal. Some journal they require they need less than 15%, 15% of AI use, and some journal they accept up to 25%, and some journals are stringent, like they want less than 10% of AI. So if you want the exact information, they may have this guidelines under guidelines for authors. They would have mentioned how much AI use is acceptable, and some journals they are accepting use of AI for writing the for polishing the language, not for writing the entire research article. In such cases, such journals are asking us to deliberately mention if we have used any AI tool for grammar, polishing the grammar, or use of language to tone up the language. Then we have to state like the AI tool has been used for this specific purpose and not for research or analysis or any other purpose. That statement is also accepted in some journals. So this information is available under guidelines for authors in any journals.
Thank you, sir. One more question, that for earlier career researcher, is it better to target the low ranked journal?
Earlier career researcher, I don't.
So
I don't.
we have the higher chance of acceptance of our paper.
Yes, I do agree. But one thing we have to ensure that it is listed in Scopus. Okay, it is listed in Scopus because, and as I said, the year of coverage, how many years this is being covered. Few journals which are accepting payments for publications, they are listed. Once they get listed, what happens? Before that, they will be publishing some 5 or 10 articles in an issue. Once it gets listed in Scopus, indexed in Scopus, they accept huge number of articles. Even they publish 50 or 60 articles in a single issue. This is being monitored by Scopus, and next year, for sure, this will be removed from journal index. So we have to ensure that if the journal is indexed in Scopus, it is indexed consistently, at least for the past 3 years. And we can also see the publication practice. I don't think that a quality article, we cannot say that any journal is of less quality, okay, unless they are predatory journal, unless they are cloned journal. We cannot say of less quality. The impact that the journal has among the scholarly community, that varies. That's why we have Q1, Q2, Q3, and Q4. Maybe at the early stage, before understanding, I mean, when we are as a researcher, to get to know how this publication process works, we can aim at a Q4 journal, a Scopus Q4 journal, or even some journals which are emerging, which are trying to get into Scopus. Okay, but once we define, okay, I want to excel in this domain, then we have to identify which are the leading journal in our domain, and we have to match, as I said, aim and scope. That is important. So regardless of the quality, I mean, the tier, we have Q1, Q2, regardless of this, the matching of aim and scope and the contribution that our research makes among the scholarly community, those are important. Okay, so I would say you can aim, maybe at the beginning you can aim at a Q4 journal, but at later on you should focus on Q1 or Q2 journal, so that will speak for you in future. Yes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Anybody else who have any question? Okay, thank you so much, sir. So as we conclude day 6 of the International Faculty Development Program, I would like to express heartfelt gratitude to our esteemed resource persons, Professor Wahidullah Enayat and Dr. S. Mohanasundaram, for sharing their valuable knowledge, scholarly expertise, and inspiring insights with all of us. I also extend sincere thanks to all respected participants for your active participation, continuous support, and enthusiastic engagement throughout the program. Special thanks to the organizing committee, coordinators, technical team, volunteers, and everyone working behind the session for their dedicated efforts in making this program successful. So tomorrow will be the final day of our IFDP, and we are excited to conclude this enriching journey with another insightful session. Our distinguished resource person for tomorrow will be Professor Ashok Kumar Makkar, Dean, Faculty of Law, Chaudhary Devilad University, Sirsa, who will deliver his expert lecture on the topic Plagiarism and Ethics in Academic Writing. Following this session, during the valedictory ceremony, Professor Bharat Dean, Information and Public Relations, Punjab University, Chandigarh, will address all of us with his valuable words and guidance. So stay connected with us till tomorrow and do not miss the final exciting and enlightening session of this IFDP. Thank you so much once again. Have a wonderful evening ahead.
Good evening, sir. Mohanasundaram, sir.
Mamta madam want to ask question.
I think Mohanasundaram.
Maybe
He left.
He left.
Okay.
he left.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, thank
Madam,
you.
late हो गया,
Anuradha ma'am or
first
Vikas sir, whoever is in control of this meeting, he may please end the meeting so that everyone